Welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. Excited today to talk about tonight's big-time WCS football game. We've got head coach Clint Finch from Brentwood here. Coach, appreciate you being here.
Always glad to be here.
And the home team for tonight, and also co-producer of this show, Coach Jamaal Stewart of Centennial High School. Coach, welcome back.
Thank you for having me again.
Hey, listen, I looked at this. I thought it was really cool. Both 7-0. It's not a region game, so it doesn't matter for that. But I thought in a lot of ways, you guys get to have a late season game that is important because it's a game, but it has this playoff kind of atmosphere. You get to test your teams. And when it's over, it doesn't really impact much. Am I right about that? Coach Finch, you agree with that?
I do agree with it, although we do talk to our kids a lot. High school football is unique. You only get 10 guaranteed a year. So all 10 of those games have to be really special, And so for us, it's a chance to go out and compete against another really good large school program. And you want to have a good showing with that game. But at the same point in time, like you said, it's not a region game, but you only get 10 of these things. So let's go out and put a good product on the field.
Coach Stewart, I want to ask you this, and again, I know I'm biased. Not only do I think this is the best game in WCS, I think this is the best game in the state tonight. Is that strong? Is that too strong?
No, I mean, I kind of agree because it's two well-coached programs, two teams that's going to come out, be prepared, very efficient on both sides of the ball. And like I said, they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And we're doing the same thing on defense as well. And like I said, you get two high-caliber programs going against each other on tonight, and it's going to be exciting.
I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. A little game history, which Coach Finch has been involved in a lot of these, too, as the head coach, but a lot as an assistant. Coach Stewart, this is his first one, so Coach Finch, I'm going to give him a little information he can share with his team tonight, get them all riled up. But since 2001, Brentwood leads the series 20-5. Now, what was interesting to me when I looked at it, Brentwood had a 13-game winning streak, I think it was. Then Centennial had a 5-game winning streak, and now Brentwood's on a 7-game streak. Played 3 times in the playoffs, Brentwood 2-1. Again, Coach Finch 2-0 as head coach, numerous games as assistant coach. Coach Stewart, his first opportunity to be in it. But I thought it was pretty interesting, and I'll start with Coach Finch. Pretty wild shifts in momentum in terms of the series, and then also you look at some of your games, they've been important because they were scheduled at the end of the season a lot of times when you're in the same region.
Yeah, for years you knew that week 10 was going to be Centennial. You also knew it was going to be cold and rainy because that was kind of a tradition when we played Centennial, to be miserable conditions. I would say that since I've been at Brentwood, there's also been a lot of those games have been really close. You got to remember last year that it was a 15-9 ball game. So we've been on the winning side of that thing a lot. But if you go back and look at the scores going into the fourth quarter, there's been a lot of close contests between those two schools. 2018,
one of those games, 28-21.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you talked about those playoff games. Coach Stewart, obviously, you don't know anything about this. You were at different schools, but you can get your team kind of pumped up for it. I'm just guessing now. I don't know this, but I'm just guessing with your team. I'm not saying you, but the team. It's like, hey, let's show we're one of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, like we've said before, we focus on every Friday. But, if you come out there and you put on a good showing, against a team like Brentwood, you're right where you need to be for playoff time. And they're pumped up about it, and I know Brentwood's pumped up about it. When you're going against county foes, man, everyone's excited. And we know the crowds are going to be there. It's going to be a good environment for the whole county. So, you just get pumped up from every Friday, but knowing that you have a good team coming in town, it kind of gets your blood flowing a little bit more. Like, all right, man, we get to show who we are and, get to put a product on the field that you're prepared for the last 5 games of the season if you're able to get to that stage.
Coach Finch, obviously you've been in other districts and back here, and Coach Stewart, I thought this was pretty funny. You don't know this, Coach Finch, but Coach Stewart was telling me that some of his assistants said, now, Coach, we're here with you. We want to be your assistants, but if you ever get an inkling to leave, we're not going with you. We're staying there. Is that true, Coach Stewart?
Oh, yes. I mean, they love it. I mean, I love it. You know, we love it here. Like I said, it means something in this county. It means something for your community. It means something for your admin, the school, the student body. It means something to everybody. And like I said, we laughing and joking about how much we like it and how different it is where we came from, of course. And they're just like, hey, you know, we're brothers and we grew up together and we're all friends, but hey, this train's gonna stay here for a little bit. If this train's gonna stay here a little bit. If yours takes off somewhere else, but I told them, man, I got everything I need and really asked for at Centennial, so I don't plan on making no leave no time soon. So.
And Coach Finch, I've heard you talk about it, teaching perspective and everything. You're a WCS guy too.
Yeah, 100%. And I tell everybody, Coach, that it will spoil you getting to work in WCS just because of the level of play and the great athletes you have and the great assistant coaches and the atmosphere. That it would be hard to ever leave a situation like this. It's just so much fun to get to work in this kind of situation.
Very well said. Let's talk a little bit about your games last week. We'll start with the WCTV game of the week. Last week, Brentwood was also in that game. 31-17 region win over Franklin. Obviously one of those old rivalries that we always talk about. The game was tied 3-3 late in the first half, and what I thought, just watching the game, may have turned out to be the play of the game. Yeah. You get an interception, and then with 1 second left, you get JT Garies with a TD reception from Baylor Hayes with 1 second left. Yeah. Even though that game in the second half had those momentum shifts, I go back to that play and go, that was the one.
Yeah, I think when you're 3-3 at the half, obviously Franklin played incredibly hard, fought the whole game. When you're 3-3 at the half, everybody gets a little tense and a little tight. We had to make a decision. We're going to kick the field goal or go for it. And quite honestly, I was like, man, we need a touchdown going into half right there. Franklin did a good job defending it. We were going to try to sprint that thing out and find a receiver open. They boxed it up pretty well, and Baylor did what he has done all year. He kept a play alive, reversed the field, and JT Garies did a great job of understanding, hey, it broke down going to the right, working to the backside of the end zone, and Baylor made a heck of a throw, and we went into halftime with a 7-point lead and a pretty big momentum shift.
I don't think people understand what a difficult throw that is, too.
100%.
I mean, we're talking however many yards. It was more yards than whatever the official yardage was.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Baylor can do is he keeps plays alive, but he also has a really strong arm. And if you go back and look, I don't think I appreciated it till I went through the film on Saturday morning. That was a long throw with kind of off platform as well. So just really impressive by that kid.
Dude making a play. Centennial 62-0 win over Glencliff. And Coach, we've talked about these kind of games before too. Sometimes those can be nightmares because your team knows, Coach, you're selling, we got to be ready in every play and respect every opponent. And then when you leave, they're going, what's Coach talking about? We're going to roll this team. But when you come out and do it, and you're supposed to do it, you got to be proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, you expect to win every Friday. It was homecoming and things like that. But, it's night and day compared to this Friday. You got to really be strapped in, and you got to be on your P's and Q's, and you got to be disciplined and sound. And they enjoyed it. Like I said, it was homecoming. You always still want the kids to have fun. But, we just try to say don't sleep on any opponent, but they kind of wasn't listening to that one. But yeah, I mean, they enjoyed it. They had a good game. But like I told them, I mean, anytime it could be your last Friday, you never know. Any freak accident can happen. So enjoy it and still play discipline, play sound. And, just get prepared for the next Friday. And they did a good job, and W is a W.
Well, and you talk about anything can happen because this young man's been through some stuff. I thought this said a lot about the culture of your program that you got going. Talk about the touchdown by our man, Zach Hagan. And now Tate said, we had our show earlier in the week, he said, now, Zach, if you're listening, you had the ball in the wrong hand.
That's Tate. That's definitely Tate.
You're protecting it the wrong way.
So, all right. So, in all actuality, I came up with it during halftime. He's a special young man. He doesn't miss practice. He's always pushing himself, and he had a special opportunity. Like I said, it was homecoming. You wanted to give a kid something to remember for the rest of their life. And, we was up by a nice amount, and I just told the guys, I said, we get close to the end zone, we give Zach the ball. Zach's a school favorite. It's a fan favorite. The kids, everybody loves him. And, he had a couple of situations early in the year where he was sick and things like that, so he missed some time and stuff like that. So, it just popped up in my head like, man, it's a good opportunity to give him something to remember for the rest of his life. And he didn't even know. I didn't even tell him, So we got close to the end zone, and then our backup quarterback, Titus, was like, Coach, Zach. So our offensive line coach ran out there, because he was playing offensive tackle at the time, ran another tackle out there and told him go to running back, and he gave us a power stance, and like I said, he was like ready, but yeah, man, it was a cool moment, man. His parents was crying, he was crying, everyone was cheering, man. It was just a good Friday night feel.
That's what it's all about, man. That's a cool story. Let's talk about your regions a little bit. Again, this one not a region game. We'll start with you, Coach Finch. You're 3-0, Ravenwood's 3-0, Indy 2-1. Then we've got Summit 1-2, Franklin, Overton 0-3. A lot of things can happen, but just kind of looking forward a little bit, the most likely scenario. Again, it doesn't mean that you're looking ahead, or even if you lose to Indy.
Sure.
The most likely scenario is the Battle of the Woods is going to be for the whole deal.
It's a good possibility. We would like to sit there and not try to get in on the back door here, just go ahead and take care of business against Independence and Ravenwood. But yeah, we think that's a real possibility, and I always joke, if that game needed any more hype, let's put it on the last game of the season with the region championship in line. I'm sure everybody would be calm and level-headed that night.
Definitely a candidate for game day, too, by the way.
I think so.
Yeah, we play Thursday, so I'll make sure I'm there, too. I'll make sure I sit and watch that game, too. So.
Coach Stewart, your region, you got Glencliff, James Lawson 0-3, Hillsboro 1-1, Page undefeated at 2-0, Nolensville 2-1, you guys at 3-0. That Page game is sort of feeling like the same thing. That one coming up on October 20th. Agree?
100%. Like I told the guys, we circled 3 games, and like I said, we don't look at anyone, we don't look past anyone. But we know we're where we need to be or who we are. Brentwood, Nolensville, Page. So those are the 3 games. We was like, well, and that's the best thing about this county. It's fun to prepare for teams because you know they're going to be well coached. You know you got to scheme up some things to prepare your kids for Friday night. But those 3 games was like, there's going to be some real battle-tested games, and you got to be on our toes as well as coaches, to put our kids in the best scenarios. And in Page, that Page game is going to be big for the region, of course. So when you got Brentwood and Page, thanks a lot whoever made our schedule, but back to back. So, but you got those 2 games. That is a great feel for getting ready for playoff time. But Page, of course, that game means the most right now. Even though this is not a region game, it's still a good Friday night football game this Friday. But the Page game means a lot to our kids, and they know what it means to the community as well.
Let's talk about this, because this is something I always think for you guys when this comes up. It can be a little bit of a nightmare in terms of changing. You guys are, all coaches, I feel like the football guys are so creatures of habit and routine. We're doing this on Sunday. We're doing this on Monday. And Thursday's a walk. And we're eating a pregame meal. You got those 10 opportunities, and they look the same.
Right.
Now you enter in fall break, which is a lot of fun. So, Coach Finch, talk about the challenges of fall break and what your plans are with it.
So I think everybody handles it differently, and I don't know that there's a right way or a wrong way to handle it. What we have traditionally done is we have our last JV freshman game on Monday night versus Indy. So we'll practice Monday afternoon, have a JV freshman game. We'll bring our kids in on Tuesday, and then we'll give them Wednesday through Sunday off. We felt that was important because we know that there's 2 big region games coming, and one of those region games is Indy, who's running option football now. So we said the idea of picking up 2 extra days to prep for the option team in a big region contest, we felt like we really needed those. What's really cool about our place is our families and our parents are so bought in. We don't get a lot of pushback from that. Everybody understands that it's something bigger. It's about being part of a group. So it's one of the good things about Williamson County, right? Everybody's bought in to what you ask your kids to do.
What will be the plans at Centennial, Coach?
It's the exact same thing. Monday and Tuesday is like very mental, weight room, recovery type of situation. And then Tuesday is install and, just like breeze through what we're going to add or whatever the case may be, or just intro of their defense and offense. And the same thing, Wednesday through Sunday, they're off. I feel like it's important. It's been a long grind, so you want to let the kids get their batteries recharged and just give them time to be a kid as well. I mean, it's a big game coming back, but it's when you look at it, you get 2 days to add it on to prepare. but it's no different than the 4 or 5 you have before getting ready for another Friday night. So, but at the end of the day, these still are kids. You got to let them enjoy or recharge. So you can't just be 100% football all the time. Let them be a kid. They're 17, 16-year-old kids. So they're looking forward to the break as well.
You know, I know Coach Finch knows this because he's been here. Coach Stewart, I bet you've been introduced to it. When I first got here, I was like, y'all going to the beach for 3 days? I thought people just went for a week. They're like, no, Coach, we're going Wednesday and coming back Saturday. I'm like, really? You learned that?
So my first meeting, and like I said, it was brand new. When I got here, Miss Chris Williamson, who's over our booster club, she gave me my plans. You know what I'm saying? So she's great, man. I have some great parents, and then she was like, "Yo, here's your schedule. Here's what's always been mapped out." But she was like, "You can change it however you want to." And the first thing they asked about fall break and things. Hey, coach, what does it look like so we can go ahead and make plans? And you know, it's like I said, it's mapped out, but we made some adjustments. But it's a different transition for me, but it's a good transition. It's very organized, and everybody's on the same page. And at the end of the day, when you got structure, everybody likes structure. You can't question structure.
And we have to think about those good folks down in Seaside in Florida. Their whole economy depends on Williamson
keep the
County.
economy rolling.
Yeah, if we play during that week, they're going to take a huge financial hit.
They're looking forward to it.
I bet they are. I bet they are. All right, let's talk a little bit about your teams. Coach Finch, a lot of weapons, a lot of guys doing a lot of things. Gavin Nelson last week, 207 yards rushing. Had to be pleased with that.
100%. And Gavin, you know, as we said before, Gavin was probably going to be sharing a lot of time with Trey Doris, who's out with an injury right now. But Gavin has stepped up over the course of the season and done a great job for us, kind of become the featured guy for us. What I like about Gavin is as soon as that game was over, though, Gavin immediately praised that offensive line. And they did a great job versus Franklin, and really that was a huge difference. I think he had 168 yards in the second half, and to be able to just hand the ball to a guy and keep getting first downs and keep having explosive runs and big plays, that was a big reason why we won that thing. That's demoralizing, I think, a lot of times when you just can't tackle the running back. Did a great job for us.
Coach Stewart, with your team, the thing I've noticed, it seems like you're getting more people involved every week. You see a different name that you hadn't seen before. Let me ask you this. Is that based on what the defense has given you, your guys developing, or maybe both?
It's actually both. You know, we try to put our kids in the best situation to win. And like some games have got out of hand early. And so you let other kids play, and then, you know, some of the JV guys or your backups, get them in the games early, in the early region opponents. But just opening it up a little bit more, getting a little bit more confidence in some things that we're doing. And then, you know, I got a kid like Dominique Reed. He had 9 touchdowns first 3 weeks. Well, towards the next 4, 5, 6 games, when it kind of got out of hand, he came to me and said, "Coach, unless you need me, we can let somebody else score so they can have some stats." And like that, what kid says that?
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So like, he was like, "Coach, unless you need me, we can let the other guys score and do things like that. But, you know, if you call me, I'll be there. But I'm okay with not getting the yards." And so 2 or 3 games, he didn't play offense at all. And that's kind of, I don't know if it's bad coaching or whatever the case may be, but, you know, it's just like everybody was making plays, you know. So, you know, trying to open it up a little bit more. And then Elisha's doing a good job getting a little bit more confidence and making some better reads and things like that. So it's just, you never know. You never know. You know, one day it might be your game. It might not be your game, but you got to do the things that's required. So I might not be open, or this ball might not be to me, but I'm going to clear it out for the person, you know. So they're very selfless, man. All they care about is winning, and they care about Centennial. So you got a guy that don't care about getting the ball, but as long as I can make this block and we score, he's going to celebrate with them too, man. So it's a good culture feel of how our kids love and support each other.
I think that's an awesome story. Coach Finch, and really kind of going back to what Coach is saying, in your sport over any sport, next man up. So those reps might really matter later.
Oh, 100%. And first of all, I think it's pretty cool that you've got two teams that are 7-0 this late in the season because injuries happen.
Man, right.
Right. And so I'm willing to bet Centennial's had a bunch of guys get reps that maybe you didn't plan on that happening, and we've had a bunch of guys have to get reps we didn't plan on happening. But absolutely, it's next man up. That's why you practice. That's why you prepare. That's why you do all the work you do to develop football players to have them ready for Friday night. And I'm incredibly pleased with the way our guys who've had to step into big-time roles have done this year.
And Coach Stewart, I had the pleasure of, because I meant to mention this earlier, of being on your sideline or close to your sideline for the Nolansville game, and was right there when Kenai Johnson made what I think is the catch of the year. It looked like a college reception. Into that game, you end up kicking the field goal to win the game. What a play that was!
Man, he's a big time player. He's selfless as well. But I told him, I said, hey man, you got to make this catch. You got to win this game for us. We Coach has injuries, and he mentioned it before. We've been playing all year without Tanner Lee, who's the offensive MVP maybe last year or something like that. So he's been battling an injury, and like I said, he was a returning offensive MVP. And just not having him has been tough, but we've been doing running back by committee. And I teach everybody, even Kenai. Kenai's ran the ball a couple of times, so we teach them all the whole offense. You know what I mean? So it's just next man up opportunity for our guys. And like Coach said, I mean, we can't control injuries, just part of it. But like you said, we're happy to both be 7-0 right now. But we got some selfless kids at the end of the day. All they care about is winning.
Listen, both of you guys are talking about your teams and they root for each other and all. Listen, one of the things I get to do that's really cool when I come to y'all's games, I try to stay out of the way now. In fact, Coach Coleman, I don't know if he knew it was me, but maybe he did know. One of the first games I went to, I was in the wrong spot. Get out of the way, it's me.
He knew it was you. He definitely knew it was you.
So listen, if y'all want to, and I don't have to do anything. You got the game in hand. I kind of dress like I could be one of the coaches. Just give me a headset.
Give you a headset.
Let me make a signal or do something.
I got you. It depends on what the score is.
I can gesture. I want to be one of those guys that, because I'll have a different color shirt on. It won't be anyone. I'll be one of them that, you know how they stand over there where they can see you?
Yeah.
And they got like a different, because I always wear a different color. I don't wear the colors of the team's playing, so it'll look official. I can get me a poster board and hold something up with a picture on it. And by the way, what is that when people hold up something? It's got like Justin Timberlake's picture on it. What's
it
that
all
mean?
means something. A different square means something. It might go off the first left square, might be first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. It's all related to the play call.
We did it at Ravenwood. We held them up every down, and it never meant anything. It never meant anything.
Hey, that's great. That is great.
That reminds me of basketball coaches. I've always said this, that as a basketball coach, when you get that little board out and you write, and ain't no kid knows what's going on. They go out and then the good players go, here's what y'all got to do.
Yeah.
Very much like that thing at Brentwood.
Absolutely.
That is great.
All right, let's talk a little defense. Coach Finch, giving up 9 points per game, 2 shutouts. You got to be happy with that defense so far.
I've been a strong point for us the past 3 years. We think they continue to get better. Again, I say it all the time. So many of those guys are in their 3rd year of essentially playing defense for us, and old kids, senior laden, a lot of snaps, and just really proud. Mike Kane, defensive coordinator, that defensive staff does a great job. Makes it a lot easier to call plays when you know that they're going to hold the other team to a low number.
Coach Stewart, 7 points, 4 shutouts for your defense.
Coach Taylor, I mean, we do a good job all putting their input in. Coach Taylor and Coach Gare do a good job intertwining what we're going to do. Just getting after the ball. Lining up right is the most important thing. Alignment, assignment, aggressiveness, those 3 A's. I learned that from a former WCS coach, Scott Blake, but good friend of mine. But I learned that, and just you got to line up right and just read your keys and play disciplined football. Get to the football, but do your job. Don't worry about no one else's job. And DJ Curl and Dominique Reed and Keegan Scruggs and those guys have been lights out. Cody Williamson, Cody Williamson is like the coach on the field. He plays safety for us. He gets everyone lined up. He makes the checks, man. So he does a good job. And like I said, it's a senior-led defense. They're always after practice. They go over someone's house. They watch film together, and they'll send us videos and clips and tendencies and things like that. We're like, Hey, well, they kind of bought in, you know what I mean? So, but like Coach said, when you got a defense that's only giving up that many points, you feel like, hey, you scored 2 or 3 touchdowns, you got a good shot. But at the end of the day, man, those kids just bought in and they just get into the football.
Not surprised you said Cody because he gets it from his mother.
Yeah, see, yep, it's connected. It's well connected. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Those two are very reliable, I'll tell you that.
Let's talk about your special teams, especially in our games. Could be the difference tonight, Coach Finch.
100%. Again, Isaac Hayes done a great job on kickoffs, extra point field goal this year. Luke Armstead has done a great job punting. And just a thing that we do, and I'm sure Coach Stewart probably does something like it too, every coach kind of has their own special team. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids, we do have starters on our special teams. We have other kids that's when they see the field. So you've got to create buy-in with your special teams, right? It can't be an afterthought. It's got to be a big part of your game plan. Our coaches are bought into it. Our players are bought into it. And then you get some good kids in there. And you don't always, I need to mention him, like Tyson Moody's our long snapper. Like, you don't always appreciate just a guy that can get the ball back there every time and get it back there on time. That's a huge advantage. You don't worry about bad snaps. Everybody's not blessed to have that. So, combination of some really good players on there, but everybody being bought into that process has been pretty good for us this year.
Coach, special teams could be big.
It's very important. It's very, very big. And, Will Stanley's done a great job kicking the ball for us. He's just a sophomore, so he does a good job putting it in the end zone. And like Coach just mentioned, it's amazing to have a long snapper. It's amazing to have a guy that can snap it for extra point. And Titus does a good job for us. He's our backup quarterback. He does a really good job for us. And he's very efficient, and you can rely on him. Even when the game on the line with Nolensville, Wells stood out there, and he was just focused. He didn't come to the huddle. He just went through his motions, and Titus was just locked in. I just seen, you don't want to talk to those guys sometimes. You know what I mean? You leave them alone. You know what I mean? So I was talking to everybody else, but those guys, man, they work before practice and after practice every day. Every day they're doing some kind of kick, and we put them in situations where we'll move the ball around and we'll have the whole team yell at them, like right beside his ear, you know what I mean? So you just put them in those type of situations. But like I said, special teams is very important. It's not an afterthought, and we try to put some quality kids out there, and we stress to them that that's not a playoff. Sometimes in this day and age, some kids used to believe that special teams was beneath them, or it's not offense or defense. So we stress the importance of how it can change and win a game. And we got kids asking to be on special teams that are starters sometimes. So it feels like it means something to them as well. So,
well, that's something I noticed with our teams. It's really a place where we excel, not only the kicking but also the coverages too. All right, let's talk a little bit more about tonight's game on offense. Coach Finch, how do you score on the stingy defense? 7 points a game, 4 shutouts. What are your challenges?
I think number one, you have to execute really at a high level. I mean, there's a reason why they're 7-0, so you got to execute at a high level. Coach speak, I know, but you can't have penalties. You cannot have turnovers. You've got to sit there. We expect Baylor to find the open receivers. You got to run clean routes. We're going to lean heavily on the offensive line tonight. They're going to have to do a great job of blocking them up and just play a really clean, well-executed game.
Coach Stewart, same question. 9 points a game that Brentwood's given up. What are some keys for your team?
Staying ahead of the sticks, doing stuff we're comfortable doing, making the right reads, like Coach also said, running clean routes, and just being physical at the line of scrimmage. That's even pass blocking or run blocking. At the end of the day, you have to be – the game is one up front. They're very good on both sides of the ball. We're pretty good on both sides of the ball. So it's an exciting matchup. But like I said, just get our guys in space and be physical and be okay with 3 yards. Be okay with those and not having to go for the home run every time and things like that. So it's one of them grind-out games. So we're looking forward to it and, just ready for the outcome.
Same question for both of you here for your defenses. Now, you can't really say no to this because it'd be motivation for the other team. But I'm going to guess for both of you, for your defenses, this is the most weapons you've seen from the offense you're facing tonight.
I think 100% it is. We're going to have to limit big plays, right? They're incredibly explosive. They can score from everywhere on the field. So that'll be a big thing. Make them make them be happy with 3-yard gains all night, right? Like make them keep snapping the ball and not let them get behind you. Not do things like don't lose contain. Get them on the ground when you got a chance to get them on the ground.
Coach Stewart, same thing. A lot of weapons for the Brentwood offense.
Without a doubt, I'm a Clint Finch fan. I love their offensive system. Even before I got here, what they do is amazing. They put you in a bind. You have to play discipline, and if you're not where you're supposed to be, and if the numbers are not right, they see it. And, you respect that. And like I said, our guys got to be sound, got to get to the football, can't miss tackles. And then whatever we do, don't break coverage because their quarterback can make a play like he's been doing. Stay on your man and just play sound football. And like I said, they're a great team. Their offense is a high impact. Anybody can get the ball, and it's all kind of formations and motions and things like that. So, like I said, I'm a big fan of the offense. Not tonight though, but not tonight. But I'm a big fan. They do a great job, man. But let's just play this one.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Appreciate you being here. And I had one last thought. Again, we've got a couple hours for the game. I'll even be that guy because I'm so fired up about tonight's game. I can be the guy that, they circle around before they come out and whatever they do.
Oh man,
Coach Stewart, I can do it, man.
What we need, we'll get them those things, those college guys hold up so nobody can see the signals.
Yeah.
How about that? How about we get you to hold up that sheet so nobody can see?
we got a cougar head you can run out.
Listen, I know what somebody's going to end up taking me up on that. I'm going to act like I don't have it. I didn't really mean I wanted to do it. Gentlemen, thank you. Can't wait for tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining us for the Coaches Show. We'll see you next time.